Hello, welcome to Locked on Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And on today's episode, we're going to get ready for the rivalry renewed as the Sharks take on the Kings for the first time this season. So we're going to break down this game, why it looks like there is going to be a ton of goals scored in this game. And of course, it's Friday, so you're going to have your 3 fries of the week. So all that and more on today's episode of Locked on Sharks.
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor at Fear the Fin and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked on Sharks your first listen. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts, and you can watch this on YouTube as well. And before we get into the kind of the preview and look at how this game might be another barn burner, do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has got you covered this season with more odds, props, and lines than before. BetOnline, where the game starts. And happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate in America. It's a Friday, Black Friday show here, but I'm full of a lot of turkey and pie and all that fun stuff. Smoked my turkey on the Traeger. It was delicious. So highly, highly recommend that, doing the turkey on the Traeger. But of course, the content never stops. The content boy is here to provide more content. So if you're out shopping or hanging out with family, or you're at work, unfortunately, or whatever you're doing, I appreciate you guys tuning in as often as you guys do. So going to be a very interesting game for the Sharks here, as they, coming home, had their one game where they went up to the Kraken and scored 5 goals, but gave up 8. And this has the feelings of another one of those type of games because both these offenses are actually really, really good. So before, though, we get into, kind of the breakdown between these two teams, let's look at how they lined up last time. Of course, the Sharks, still, there's going to be some questions about the Sharks and how they line up here, especially with, Nico Sturm is still out. He is practicing, but he's still on IR right now. And then Radim Šimić is back, but didn't draw in last game. And then James Reimer should be available, but we'll probably know more on Friday morning after they practice in the morning. One thing to keep in mind, Aaron Dell was an emergency call-up, so he does not have to go through waivers again when he goes back to the Barracuda. So the emergency call-ups, they can bring him up for a couple days and then place him back down. That's very, very, it's mainly used for goalies. So Aaron Dell, when he goes back to the Barracuda, he does not have to pass through waivers. So just something to keep in mind. You don't have to worry about Aaron Dell if somebody's snatching Aaron Dell up, because again, he was called up on an emergency basis. So there's a limit of how many games, how many days you can stay up with that. But since Reimer it feels like it's a day-to-day type of situation with him, expect Dell to be sent back to the Barracuda, who are going to be in Henderson on Friday. And then they play Bakersfield on, I think it's Saturday. So he might join the team in Bakersfield on Saturday. We'll find out more, I'm sure, after practice. And so Sharks, of course, lined up with Meier, Hertl, LeBanc, of course, Nieto, Couture, Barabanov. They've been great. Gregor, Bonino, Cunnin, Lindblom, Lawrence, and Gadovich. So, they could potentially bring Svechnikov back in. We'll see. Magna, Carlson, Vlasic, Benning, Cicek, and Ferraro. So we'll see if Cicek, there was some defensive lapses between him and Ferraro, so we'll see if Cicek is in for another game, or if they want to bring in Radim Šimić. Again, the Barracuda are hurting on defense, so if they can get Cicek over, at least into Bakersfield, that would be, for Saturday, probably much appreciated by the Barracuda, who are right now kind of struggling to put together a team here on at least on the blue line. So for the LA Kings, their lines, of course, Kevin Fiala, who they acquired this offseason from the Minnesota Wild and then paid, and he is working out pretty well for them. Anze Kopitar, Andre Kemp, who had surprisingly had 35 goals last year. I didn't realize how proficient of a goal scorer he was last season until I started kind of researching this game and kind of looking at the Kings offseason. Trevor Moore, Philip Denault, and Victor Arvidsson. Carl Grunderstrom, who I think is moonlights as a Swedish death metal singer. At least his name sounds like that. Blake Lizotte, Gabriel Velarde, Jared Anderson-Dolan, Rasmus Kapari, and Arthur Kalev. And then they have Mikey Anderson, Drew Doughty, Alexander Edler, Matt Waugh, Jacob Mavari, which sounds fake name, and then Sean Walker. And then in net, California Peterson and Jonathan Quick. Iafallo, who's kind of been around for a while, he's been on IR all season. Brandon Lemieux is on IR, I assume with rabies. That would be my guess. That's a joke. And then Sean Dursey is day to day. So that's how they line up. Before we continue and actually look at how these teams match up and why this looks to be all offense all the time, let's take a quick break. Let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you guys by BetOnline. And if you guys haven't checked out BetOnline, it's your number one source for betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get all the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. You have football in full swing. I hope you enjoyed Thanksgiving football. Right now, the Vikings are winning, so if they win, that all my picks would have won. You've got basketball, World Cup, hockey. The Sharks-Kings game is over under at 6, and I have a very good feeling about the over on this game. They've got you covered at betonline.net. If you love sports podcasts, they got you covered there as well. Fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix in. So head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Okay, so this game is, I keep mentioning it, and the big reason is both these teams actually have really good offenses that are really good at kind of generating chances and high danger chances, those really good quality chances. And especially the Sharks, who have, I think with this team now, you have to kind of throw out the first 8 games and look at the separation there. And this team is a much better team, at least scoring the puck. They're a much better team than what we have seen in the past, since the start of this season. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to be pulling up the nice little, J-Fresh hockey here. So expected goals for, as you can see, if you've been watching these with me for a while, you can see how the Sharks, especially the offensive numbers, are starting to kind of climb up there, right? And that you've seen a steady improvement from them. Defensively, this team is still, but 5-on-5 goals for, the Kings rank 14th, the Sharks rank 15th. 5-on-5 expected goals for, so the Kings rank 15th, the Sharks rank 23rd. So Sharks are kind of outperforming their expectations when it comes to 5-on-5 goals. And I think a lot of that has to do with how poorly they played at the beginning of the season to how poorly they played now. I think we were 7-8 games in the season, and their goals per game was under 2. They're now at 3 goals per game for an offense. So you see the offense is coming to life. 5-on-5, Corsi for 10th. For the Kings, the Sharks are ranked 23rd. Power play goals, the Kings are ranked 16th. The Sharks are ranked 14th. So again, that power play, which has been, David Quinn, guy knows how to coach a power play, and I've talked about it before. He picks his 5 best guys. You guys go out there and do your thing. Go figure it out. You guys have 90 seconds. Go out there and cook. And they've been doing it. So Kings rank 14th in finishing, while the Sharks rank 16th. Expected goals against. So this is the defense here, right? Kings are 20th. and then 5-on-5 goals against, 20th, and then the 5-on-5 goals against for the Sharks ranked 31st. Expected goals against third. So the Kings defense is kind of doing what they're supposed to, but as we'll continue down this list, you'll see why they're having trouble. So 5-on-5 expected goals against for the Sharks, 15th. So again, we'll get to that issue here. 5-on-5 course against Kings rank 10th, so they're pretty good at limiting the shots. 5-on-5 course against for the Sharks, 18th. PK goals against Kings are ranked 27th. The Sharks, of course, number one. Their PK is the best in the league. Goaltending. Oh, the sweet, sweet goaltending. Kings ranked 31st, Sharks ranked 29th. So that is right there the main reason why I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game, especially if James Reimer is not available for the Sharks. So we'll see. They're hoping that he'd be ready for Friday. We shall see. Offense and shooting comparison. So again, the Kings, their goals for, they're ranked 2.6, which is 14th. Expected goals for 2.7. Power play clicking at 20%, which is 22nd in the league. Goals above expected, 0. So kind of close where they're at. They shoot their goals for and their goals expected are pretty close, right? For the Sharks, for the offense, goals for is 2.6. Expect goals for 2.9. And their power play is at 21. So we've seen that power play continually improve. So defense and goaltending comparison. So again, the Kings actually doing a pretty good job of limiting the expected goals. Their expected goals amount is 2.2, which is third best, but the goaltending has been abysmal for the Kings, and I'll dive into that a little bit more here in a second. And their PK is at 74%, which is one of the worst. So there's the matchup for the Sharks, right? Is that special teams battle where the Sharks power play much improved, or over the last kind of month now, and their PK still remains elite. They've given up three now. They gave up a power play goal to the Kraken, but they've given up 3 power play goals in the past month, like the month of November. So yes. And then play driving. Kings, they do a really great job of kind of controlling the puck, getting their shots. Expected goals for 55% of the time. That's 6th in the NHL. Corsi for 53%, 8th. So they do a great job of producing shots and creating offense. The Sharks, again, it's been improving, and I would say, these numbers, I think you're going to see them continue to improve as the season goes on. And we've seen the Sharks, they've been able to get into these shootout type of games. So, yeah, I think, kind of diving into that a little bit more, right? What the Sharks actually do really well is actually produce high quality shots, right? They are one of the best in the league at creating those. And the problem for the Kings is their goalies have been abysmal this year. So friends over at Money Puck, I didn't put this on a thing, but I grabbed it from my Fear the Fin article. But goals saved above expected, the 7 worst goalies at goals saved above expected. Number 2 is Capo Kakinen, who's at negative 9.5 right now. Number 6, Cal Peterson is at negative 7.1. And then number 7 is Jonathan Quick at negative, I think it's like 5.5. So all of these guys are just kind of leaking in goals that they probably should not be doing that. And then especially if Cal Peterson plays for the is in net, oh boy, you're going, yes. The Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl line is going to continue to feast. So when these guys have played together, this is from Natural Stat Trick, this season at 5-on-5, they have created 84 high danger chances for and allowed 42. So they created 66.67% of the high danger chances for. Cal Peterson this year, high danger unblocked shot attempt save percentage. So basically, how many these high danger saves have you made? He is the worst in the NHL at 0.357. So Timo Meier, Tomas Hertl, great job of creating high danger. They create 66% of the high danger chance saves, high danger chances when they're on the ice. Cal Peterson saves he saves 35% of those shots. So this game looks like it's going to be absolute bonkers for goals. And get into the predictions here in a minute. But that matchup of that first line of Hertl, Timo, who've been absolutely outstanding this year. Tomas Hertl is kind of taking a little bit of a backseat to Timo Meier, but he's been doing a lot of the play driving and kind of the unheralded work. And Timo Meier has been absolutely on fire. Had a hat trick last game, is, leading the team in goals, leading the NHL in shots. And, where we've seen him again since that game 10 mark, has just really taken his game to another level and has kind of found his spot in David Quinn's system, found a spot in David Quinn's power play. And the offense is flowing through him, and he's making the most of these opportunities. And if Cal Peterson's playing, man, I feel really good about Timo Meier just absolutely wrecking shop. I'm not going to say another 5-goal performance from Timo Meier, but I would feel really strong about a hat trick for Timo Meier. So 2 hat tricks in 2 games for Timo Meier, which would probably make him one of the 3 stars of the week next week. But before we continue, look at some of the other kind of, my predictions and how I think the Sharks are going to, how this game is going to go. And then, of course, give the 3 fries of the week. Do want to let you guys know, of course, about the Locked On Sports Today podcast. So thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, free and available wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can watch this on YouTube. For your second listen today, go check out the Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, so the Sharks, Kings, both teams great at creating offensive chances. The Kings have become a really sneaky, good offensive team over, especially this year. Their goal differential is bad because, again, it's funny, the entire Pacific, I think only 2 teams have a positive goal differential. But again, that's because the Kings goalies are Jonathan Quick, who regression has hit him like a Mack truck, and Cal Peterson never has taken that step that we kind of expected him to do. But, the Kings, their offense, 3.14 goals for per game. That's 15th best. Goals allowed per game, 3.46, 23rd best. The Sharks, 3 goals, 4 per game. So we've seen that number move up. Goals allowed per game, 3.5, and that game against the Kraken did not help very much. So this feels like a very offensive showing type of game, especially since both teams, Kings played on Tuesday, Sharks played on Wednesday. They're, light travel for the Sharks coming back from, light travel for the Kings, just a couple hour flight from LA to San Jose. So was that like an hour and a half or something like that? Both teams like to generate offense. And when it feels like the both teams are going to be kind of fresh and ready to go here. So, the Kings, like I said, they're 7th in expected goals for this year with 45.8, and 7th in high danger chances at 54.26. The Sharks, just as good, actually. That was the Sharks. Sorry. The Sharks are, 7th and 45.8 and 7th in high danger chances at 54.26. The Kings are 5th in expected goals for at 46.7 and 9th in high danger chances at 53.75. So these teams both like to generate a lot of high danger chances, both like to generate a lot of expected goals, and both like to score a lot of goals. So we've seen that with the Sharks, especially with the past kind of since the calendar turned, this team has scored a ton of goals. If looking back, so you have, of course, the Rangers game, of course, they only scored 1 goal, but they scored 5 against the Kraken, 5 against the Sens, 1 against the Rangers. The Rangers are like a cup caliber team, and they have arguably the best goalie in the world. They scored 4 against the Red Wings. They scored 5 against the Golden Knights. They scored 2, and then they had a shootout against the Wild on the second night of a back. No, that was the second night of a back. Anyway, that was on like 3 and 4 days type of game, right? 5 against the Stars, 3 against the Blues, 4 against the Ducks, 3 against the Panthers. Like, you see this team, this offense has really started to come to life, and that's because Hertl, Couture, Carlson, and Meier have been kind of pushing it. So if those guys continue to do what they're doing, and I think in this game you expect that to happen, the Sharks should be in this again. I think it's going to come down to whichever goalie can make a save. If Reimer's in net, I feel pretty good about the Sharks' chances to win if he's back to being fully healthy and they're not kind of rushing him back in because they need James Reimer to play. And it doesn't matter who's in net for the Kings. I feel really good about their inability to make those saves. We saw Timo Meier last year absolutely pants Jonathan Quick for 5 goals. And Timo Meier has been amazing against the LA Kings in his career. I think he's played 23 games with them. He's got 12 goals. I know 5 of them came in 1 game. But Timo Meier versus the Kings feels a very strong bet. So my prediction, and then we'll get out here with my prediction, and then get into the 3 fries of the week. So I have 6-4 Kings, just because, that's this. The Kings just they have more depth, right? They have more guys who can help score. And while the Sharks are very top heavy, the Kings just have more guys. I just went through their lineup, but you have like Kevin Fiala, you have Kempe, you have Kopitar, you've got a bunch. Trevor Moore. Trevor Moore's got 4 goals in the last 5 games. Kind of an underrated guy. I think they're just a little bit deeper, and their defenders are a little bit better. They just unfortunately get killed by their terrible goaltending. So that's they're just they're more balanced team, right? They have more guys who can, Moore has 6 goals this year. Lazat's got 5 goals this year. Kempe's got 7. Fiala's got 7. Grunstrom, the Swedish metal singer, has 4. Kalyev's got 6. Like, they have Velarde has 11. Like, they have a bunch of guys who can kind of score. And while the Sharks have elite goal scorers, they just don't have that secondary scoring. So that's why I think they come out with a 6-4 win. Well, it's going to be a really fun game. I'm actually really looking forward to this, especially the Sharks win the reverse retros. I think this is going to be a super fun Friday night. So, all right, let's get into the 3 fries of the week. Fry number 3, Matt Nieto scored 3 goals in 4 games. Has fit in really great on that second line with Couture and Barabanov. And I keep trying to find a replacement for him, and I can't because nobody else will step up. So I'm going to give Matt Nieto his fries. Enjoy your I guess small fry. Well, third gets a small, second gets a medium, and the first gets a large fry. But Matt Nieto, he's been playing really well. Pump that, got to pump and dump that stock on Matt Nieto to a contender. But keep scoring. Maybe you can get a 4th round pick from Matt Nieto. That'd be fun. But he's been doing great on that second line, and keeps proving me wrong and making me come on here and say how Matt Nieto is great. So enjoy your small fries. Number 2, Captain Logan Couture. So Couture quietly has been kind of, figuring things out. And I think you can kind of look back to the Barabanov, like when Barabanov got put on his wing, how much better they've become, especially as a tandem, right? So Couture's got 5 goals in the last 5 games. He's got a goal per game, 7 in his last 8 games. with Barabanov, you know, we know Couture, like he can shoot, but he's become more of a kind of greasy goal scorer, right? Up in front of the net, tip pucks, kind of slapping in rebounds. You know, that's kind of taking that Joe Pavelski type of role. Not as good as Joe Pavelski at that stuff, but that's kind of the role he is taken right now, is the greasy goal guy, and he does a great job of it, especially with Barabanov, right? So 150 minutes that these guys have played together 5-on-5. Expected goals for almost 8, 7.64. Scoring chances 82. High danger chances 38. High danger goals for, they've scored 7 high danger goals while giving up 1. I think that's because their skills really match up really well, right? Couture, he could give you, you know, defensive presence down the center, gets to the net, scores greasy goals. Barabanov, though, he helps with that transition game. How often is Barabanov kind of the one leading the rush or leading the transition there? You know, and we know, you know, he can win those board battles. He's very good at protecting the puck with his body. And then again, that vision and that passing of his where he can find Couture in those spots. And we've just seen kind of those two guys kind of work really, really well together. So yeah, Couture and Barabanov. Couture, just quickly, without Barabanov this year, I think it's like 120 minutes. Expected goals for 4.41, 4.9 expected goals allowed. Scoring chances for 51 to 71 allowed. High danger chances for 14 to 20. High danger goals allowed. He has 0, 4, and then he's given up 5. So Barabanov really helps Couture kind of take the load off there. So yes, he's, you know, kind of turned back the clock a little bit. If I don't expect him to continue to shoot at 26% that he's shooting right now, but he's playing well right now. Give him his fry. Enjoy your medium fries, Logan Couture. And then number 1, Timo Meier. You score a hat trick, you're usually going to be the number 1 player in the week. So yeah, Timo's been on fire. Scored a hat trick. Absolutely beautiful snipe. Great one-timer. Yeah, and then Johnny on the spot with a nice little tip in there. And I expect Timo Meier to destroy tonight against the Kings as well. So that's going to be it for me. Be back on Monday with a breakdown of the weekend's happenings. So we got the Kings on Sunday, you got the Canucks the Kings on Friday, Canucks on Sunday. So we'll have a kind of a nice little breakdown of that. Plenty of Barracuda action this weekend. So a weekend full of hockey in San Jose. So make sure you guys are following along. My Twitter at MyFryHole, where you can find all the clips. You can also listen, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, all those places. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Watch on YouTube. And yeah, till then, bye, friends.